I bleed silver and black, and I wear it with pride. Hold my shield to the sky. I'm a Raider for life. 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 I'm a Raider for life.
Touchdown, Raiders! What the hell is going on, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Mikey Raider, and I'm pissed the F off. Why? I shouldn't be. We should all know who the Raiders are. We should know that this comes along once a season. Basically every week. Something's going on with our Raiders. And this is not going to be your normal post-game review show. I know you guys would prefer me to rant and yell and rave and make all the funny jokes while I stand in front of my living room where I do Manuela every couple nights with Diddy Lube. But no, I'm going to do it in a calm manner because I get stressed the F out. My heart and my blood pressure goes up when I do all that stuff, so I can't do it. I got to sit down and yell. It's better on the health for fat people. What's up? This is Raider Football Talk. This is your post-game review of the Raiders versus the Broncos. And yeah, we really prepared our legacy in this game. Antonio Pierce really set a standard. And we're looking good moving forward. Really, really proud of this team. That was sarcasm. For those of you that don't get it. Some of y'all are fucking clueless. And we're going to talk about some of those players and fans in today's show. What's up? I'm Mikey Raider. Please hit that thumbs up, that like, that subscribe button. Consider becoming a member of this channel for some future and early and exclusive content. I just haven't been able to get around to it. I deal with some health issues in life. So every certain days or so, I just got to do nothing and take medicines and relax and chill. But I appreciate you guys. I do have content. I do have donation portals down below. If you become a member, it'll buy me some tacos, turkey tacos, because I'm doing it a little healthier. And donations, if you guys can find yourself to super chatting or whatever, hopefully I'll be able to do a live stream this week. But, that's still in question with some other issues I'm dealing with. But I got a computer that seems to be working okay, or decently, thanks to a gift from a good friend. Blessings to you. Please do me a favor. Find me on a Twitter. Information's down below. I do polls. I like polls. I like stripper polls. I like penis polls. Well, my penis poll. For the girls that are on the stripper pole. I don't know what I'm talking about. Hit up the Rants Hotline. Leave your voicemails after every game to be on that week's Raider Football Talk Show. All right, this is a post-game review, though. Let's talk about it. The Raiders, technically last week they won by losing. And this week they lost by losing. There's so much controversy going on with our Raiders, and I'm just freaking tired of it. Everybody wants to blame everybody. Everybody wants to blame AP. Everybody wants to blame Devontae, myself included. There's blame to go around for every freaking body, okay? Every person is at fault. The Raiders did Devontae wrong because of the Josh McDaniels, Derek Carr situation. Antonio Pierce did some of the players wrong by airing their grievances publicly, by technically liking that post. But if you want to place degrees on who to blame more, this and that, fine. Go ahead. Go on X. Go on Twitter. That is the most toxic place ever. You guys will have a good time. I can't believe it. Devontae Adams, Antonio Pierce should be fired. Y'all wanted to get rid of Derek Carr. I hate Derek Carr. Derek Carr's not elite. Well, guess what? I'm wearing his damn jersey. For all you haters out there. We're going to talk about him in today's show. I'm going to lay it straight. So everybody that's stupid AF, open up your fucking ears. Let's just talk about the Raiders in a semi-calm manner. I'm going to try to stay calm. And let's just figure this thing out. Because Lord knows the Raiders can't figure it out. It's been 20, 30, 40, whatever years, 25 years. We ain't getting no better. And we're going to blame some people by the end of this show that truly need to be blamed. All right, let's start out with the storylines from the game. Well, first off, let me talk about the picture that we got on. How do I do it? There we go. There we go. We're going to have a fire sale. Might not happen this week. It might start this week or next week with Devontae Adams. But we're going to have a fire sale very fucking soon. Okay? We're going to have a fire sale. Everything must go. Everything must go. We'll talk about that toward the end of this show. But let's talk about the game from my perspective. See if I can get some stats and stuff on screen. So forgive me if the pictures go off for a split second. We all predicted the Raiders to win this week. We at least knew they had a chance going against Bo Nix, one of the worst rookie quarterbacks to happen. But as I said, and again, I'm tired of telling you all I'm always fucking right. But go watch the pre-game show that I did 3 or 4 days ago, 5 days ago. And I explained how this game would go. I said it was going to be a close game. I did predict the Raiders to win 20 to 17. But that's because we should have won this game. But I said whoever wins the turnovers, meaning whoever has the less turnovers, will probably win the game in a close one. And they have a defense that is bar none pretty decently playing. And I had to pick up the Denver Broncos in a $500 fantasy football league to play them as my defense. That's right. You ain't a Raider fan, like you Raider. You picked up the Denver Bronco defense in fantasy football. How dare you go against you Raiders? Well, guess what, you stupid cunt? This league costs $500 to play. There's 12 teams. That's a prize pool of $6,000. I'm 2-2 at this point. I need a defense. I lost Rashee Rice. That's right, Rashee Rice, the Kansas City Chief, was one of my wide receivers. I lost him. Thank goodness I picked up Jacoby Myers, technically a number one, during that Devontae struggle. But I needed a defense. All the defenses were gone. The Minnesota, the Jets, whatever the good defenses are, they were gone. And Broncos were still in the top 3. Still available. It's not a Raider league, but the Broncos were still there. They were playing the Raiders, who were in turmoil. Well, let me think about this. Do I not pick the Broncos because of my fandom for a league that's worth $6,000? No, they're playing the fucking Raiders. Pick up any defense that plays the Raiders. Put them in your lineup. Probably a guaranteed 8 to 10, 12 points from your defense. And that's all that people need from defense. In my league, we got a little bit of different scoring. I scored like 24 fucking points with the Raiders defense because they got a pick 6. I mean, with the Broncos defense because they got a pick 6. It's leading me to a victory. I have a 17-point lead going into tonight's game, and I have Rashid Shaheed, and he's got Alvin Kamara. I got a 17-point lead thanks to the Bronco defense. I might win this game, and I might be 3-2 in a $6,000 league. That's what you got to fucking do, okay? But all you people that want to waste $500, you must not need it. I had to pick up the Broncos defense, and that's what they did. They steamrolled our Raiders. I don't know. That was a whistle that just came out. Whistle while you work. The Broncos defense steamrolled our Raiders. And I predicted all of it to happen. I still predicted a Raider victory because I thought they would limit the turnovers and the bad plays. And this game had penalties galore and a bunch of other stuff. And let's be honest, the moment of the game that we lost, It was basically a 14-point turnover. We'll talk about that in a second. To start the game, the Raiders came out with their Luke Getsy trick play that they planned a whole week for with Brock Bowers and Gardner Minshew, and they got him open for a big touchdown to start the game. The Raiders went ahead 7-0. Then we kicked a field goal somewhere around that time, and I think it was 10-0. And then, then the second quarter came. We couldn't continue. I don't remember every single play. We lost Christian Wilkins in the game. I hope he gets better. But the storylines coming into this game, and I forgot to go back to that, was I didn't want Max Crosby to play. I heard he had a rib injury as well. I heard he had a high ankle sprain. And I didn't want him to play. So I put out the poll, because I love polls, should Max Crosby play? And I said no. Max Crosby's future is too bright to get injured for a fucking sucky team versus the Broncos. But, from Max's perspective, he plays well against the Broncos, and he had another good game against the Broncos this week. I think he had a couple of sacks and 2 or 3 tackles. But still, injury beside, Max is our future. That is really the only real Raider left on this roster that's leading the team. And most high ankle sprains for even players that are wide receivers and or defensive ends, they should be out 2 or 3 weeks. But Max Crosby's got a Patriot working for him in Tony Guerrero, building up his body, making him feel good, making him ready for games like this. The ex-Patriot Tony Guerrero with Tom Brady that takes like $100,000 of treatment to treat our Raider players. We're going to talk about the shadiness and the shystiness of this Patriot situation in a couple of minutes. But I don't think Max Crosby should have played. I'm proud that he played. I hope he didn't injure himself worse. I still professionally think the team should have wrangled Max Crosby in, but they wanted him in this game because they were going against Bo Nix. And Max Crosby knew he can get some numbers against this bad Denver offensive line and this bad rookie quarterback that was one of the worst in the league coming into this game. That's why they made a business decision without regard for Max Crosby. But let's be honest, it was probably Max Crosby's decision to play. People are like, why are you so mad that he played? Well, because he didn't get injured. We're not talking about it. But I'm looking at the totality of the Raiders' lore and the legacy and these type of players. Max Crosby's getting injured every couple weeks now. And he's doing whatever he can to get on the field, and I applaud him. I mean, I love the dude. He is the Raider. He is the Raider. The ultimate Raider right now. But I'm just saying, one more week of rest for Max Crosby, in my mind, instead of going into the high altitude of Denver, where he could tweak something and do something. Because I would think our backup defensive edge rushers and Christian Wilkins and stuff like that, if they were able to win last week, they might be able to handle Bo Nix this week without a possibly hobbled Max Crosby. But that being said, look, I can't keep harping on it. He played well. I just hope there's no lingering effects, okay? I'm going to leave that decision for another time. It's not that big of a deal right now. But if he has an injury and he's on the injury report this week or something like that, he's probably going to be limited another 2 or 3 days again and then give it a go on Sunday. Fine. But still, there's moments where the team has an opportunity to basically tell a player, dude, we love you. We love you. Take it easy one more week. But you can't say that to Max Crosby. So that means in a weird way, sometimes a player is above the shield. But that goes against more about the Devontae stuff that we'll talk about in a little bit. But I love you, Max Crosby. Thank you for going out there and giving your all. But you need to look at your career now a little bit differently. As an aging veteran who's getting injured a little bit too much nowadays because you play your ass off so hard. I know you don't want to take games off, but simmer down now, okay? Simmer down now for a little bit. At least rest your body for 2 weeks. All right, we'll leave that at that. So the momentum play of the game in the second quarter was Gardner Minshew throwing a pass to either Jacoby Myers or Brock Bowers while we're about to go up 17-0 if he doesn't throw a lopsided pass over the top. I don't know who he was throwing to, but he overthrew Brock Bowers, who was like on the 2-yard line on a cross pattern, and he threw the ball over Brock Bowers' head, and then Jacoby Myers was right behind Brock Bowers on another cross pattern. We had 2 receivers in the same area. That is a cause for a hospital ball or an injury. I don't know if that was Luke Getsy's game plan, but that was a little weird. But Gardner Minshew overthrew Bowers if Bowers was his target, and underthrew Jacoby Myers if Myers was his target. He threw it in between both of them. Then the ball was intercepted by the guy, the number 1 MVP defensive cornerback of the Broncos, Patrick Surtain, who took that ball from the end zone on a pick 6 to score to make the Raider game 10-7. That was a 14-point swing. Either the Raiders score 7 or they score. Basically a 14-point swing. If we score that, all momentum is ours. We're looking really good. They're going to start to feel behind the game. They're going to start making, some bad throws. Bo Nix is, I got to score. I got to do this. I got to do. And he's going to overplay himself. And we could possibly take it down to the wire. And we could have won. Okay? Do you want to blame Gardner on that? You want to blame the offensive coordinator for having receivers in the same area? Blame them all. But that's a throw that Gardner's got to make. Who was he throwing it to? You don't throw it that high. It looked really high. You throw it in front of Bowers, or you throw it to the pylon. The back pylon, bitch. That being said, Raider Nation went to Twitter to talk about Gardner Minshew. And then when I saw that happen, I know the Broncos defense is good, and they are. But that was a quarterback decision it might have been first down or second down. That shouldn't have happened. So then I put out on Twitter this little poll here. Serious question. Looking back. Joe Flacco or Gardner Minshew? Flacco's on a $4.5 million contract. Gardner Minshew's on $15 million, $12 million, whatever it is. Mark Davis, if you're penny pitching, you could have got Joe Flacco for probably $6 million a year. Because if he signed with the Colts for $4.5 million, I'm sure there's some incentives there. There might be a couple million in some incentives. But if they got him for $4.5 million, we could have got him for $6 million, guaranteed. With maybe another $1 million or $2 million in incentives. That would have been $8 million. And if Gardner was 12 or 15, you shave $7 million, $4 million, whatever the price is, for a veteran, better quarterback than Gardner Minshew in a bridge type situation. Cleveland, too. They wish they had Joe Flacco. But then again, would Joe Flacco have signed with the Vegas Raiders or whatever? I don't know. But you know what? With the incentives of no taxes and possibly a Joe Flacco final year or two in the NFL, you think he would want to play for a team for 6 or 7 million instead of 4.5 million in a town that doesn't have taxes? You're goddamn right he would. The decisions made by this staff in this offseason boggles my fucking mind. And if you're trying to save money, you could have shaved 5-6 million with Joe Flacco and AOC. I mean, if you were going to go with Gardner, who we all know what he is, and he's basically a backup, one of the best backups in the league, I'm going to have to say Joe Flacco is the best backup that should be a starter. But the decisions you guys are making as a staff and as a team and as an organization are fucking boggles my mind. That's why I'm putting the blame on all you motherfuckers. You feel me? Every one of these decisions is going against something, and it doesn't make any sense. So, serious question. Joe Flacco or Gardner Minshew looking back? I know it only has 32 votes. I don't have a lot of people on Twitter that really follow my stuff. But hey, 94% said Joe Flacco. That should answer all your fucking questions. Raider staff, Tom Teleshko, and Antonio Pierce. All right. Let's talk about the rest of the game from the statistical point of view. I don't even want to talk about everything else that happened. The Broncos whooped us. They took charge. We had penalties everywhere. Antonio Pierce took out Joe Flacco in a game again this year as he's flip-flopping, put in AOC. You know, a lot of the fans, I want AOC better than Gardner Minshew. I want AOC. He's way better. Well, he didn't look good either against a number top 3 or top 5 defense in Denver Broncos. It's because he wasn't prepared, Mickey Raider. He wasn't prepared. Whatever. But Antonio Pierce constantly pulling out his guy who has an emotional track record of needing to feel loved and insecurity and momentum. It's kind of like Derek Carr, no pun intended. I love you, Derek. I do. I still root for you. But for Antonio Pierce to say we're going with Gardner in week 2 of the preseason, calling him his guy, and then at every turn and every turmoil and every bad play, Devontae Adams is yelling at Gardner Minshew, talking to him. Antonio Pierce is yelling at Gardner Minshew, talking to him. They're making fun of Gardner Minshew on the beach at their training camp practices. How is this guy going to feel loved if at every turn Raider Nation goes against him, the fan base goes against him? He's not built for it. And I'm not or whatever the word is for him. I'm not doing that. He is what he is. He has capable moments, but he's a backup quarterback at best. And when he makes these really bad decisions, that one cost us the game, I believe, the momentum swing. And then he came back in again, he tried to do better, and he was still failing. Then Antonio Pierce, at the drop of a dime, pulled him out for a second game this season. What does that do to anybody's psyche? Antonio Pierce is messing with the team psyche. Roll with Gardner. Roll with him. If you made him your guy, roll with him. You keep flip-flopping. So now if Aiden's your guy, then you roll with Aiden. Okay? And then in his post-game press conference, they said, is Gardner, did you have trouble with him? What did you think? Is he your quarterback moving forward? We'll have to look at it day to day. Come on, man. You're just adding more drama, dude. Well, just add more drama. Antonio Pierce. Just say it like this. when you pulled out when you pulled out Gardner Minshew for Aiden, what does that say about Gardner? He's our starting quarterback next week. He was having a bad day, rough defense. I wanted to find a spark. He was having a really bad day. But I love Gardner. He's our starting quarterback next week. Said and done. Let's look at some of the Raiders passing stats. And let's discuss them. Gardner Minshew was 12 for 17. I mean, stat-wise, that doesn't look so bad. But only 137 yards with an average of 8-1. One touchdown to Brock Bowers early in the game. And then, of course, the 2 interceptions. He got sacked 2 times for 9. Quarterback ratings for the second or third week in a row, really low. 46-7. Then Aiden O'Connell comes in and does 10 for 20. He actually does worse than Gardner. I'm not clowning on each one. 10 for 20 for 94 for a half less of an average than Gardner Minshew for 4.7. No touchdowns, 1 interception, got sacked 1 time for a quarterback rating of 20. So technically, and again, it's a small sample size, but Gardner, and we all know it, if you really think to yourself the truth, Gardner is a more capable, better quarterback than Aiden. And people keep saying Aiden has upside. Well, if he did, he would have been showing it in practice. And the coaches would have kept going, I don't know, man. I know we're watching Gardner with the starters, but Aiden is throwing dimes. Aiden is throwing touchdowns. Aiden is doing this in practice. You know what? Today, let's put Aiden with the starters on 10 plays, 15 plays. Then if Aiden tears it up with the starters, let's put him with 10 plays tomorrow. You get it? If Aiden was that good, he'd be working himself up in the ranks. Gardner is a better quarterback. So Gardner is our only starting quarterback on this team. Okay? Again, we can't go back with the decisions that were already made, whether Joe Flacco or whatever. Gardner's our quarterback, okay? Everything that happened sucks, and it's all revealing the truth now. But Gardner's a better quarterback, and he's the best one we have on this team. Let's look at the rushing. Amir Abdullah came out to play 5 for 42, 8.4 average, 1 touchdown. Alexander Madison got 15 carries, and he only did 38 yards for an average of 2.5. Gardner Minshew ran on a couple of plays, 2 for 22 with 11 average. Trey Tucker, they were trying to spread the field like they did last week, but they weren't able to. We had Tyreek McAllister injured in this game. He didn't play. We had a couple of injuries to players that should request speed, and on special teams, we struggled with penalties and everything. Trey Tucker, 2 for 8, 4 average. DJ Turner for 1 for 5. Let's look at Denver's passing and rush and how we made an all-pro out of another young quarterback like the Raiders always seem to do. We made an all-pro out of Bo Nix. That's right. Let's be honest. Denver knew that the Raiders were going to try to do everything to shut down the run game. That if the Denver Broncos are going to beat the Raiders, it's not going to be with the run game, which we do struggle with. They said, let this be a Bo Nix game. We're going to blitz Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, and whatever. But if Bo Nix can beat us, so be it. We don't believe Bo Nix can beat us. Well, he did. 19 for 27, 206 yards, 7.6 average. That's still not the greatest. But 2 touchdowns. He got sacked 3 times, and he had a worse quarterback rating than Minshew, 26.8. But his overall rating is 117. Look at their run game. We struggled on run defense, especially after Christian Wilkins went out in the game. Carried Javonte Williams, 13 for 61, 4.7 with a long of 17. Jaleel McLaughlin, 6 for 22, average 3.7. Marvin Mims on a reverse or whatever, sweep, 1 for 17. Then Bo Nix, 8 for 9. I would rather Bo Nix beat us running the ball than Javonte Williams. You know what I'm saying? He's not one of those quarterbacks that I think can run a lot, but he has the ability. But we cradled him in. I like looking at the stats, guys, because it reveals a lot. Let's look at our receiving game. Who had the most targets in the absence of Davante Adams? Well, it appears to have been Brock Bowers. He had 8 receptions with 12 targets for 97 yards, a 12 average, and 1 touchdown. He should have had 2. That Gardner Minshew interception was ridiculous. Should have went to Brock Bowers. He was open in the flat. He might have dove in for a touchdown. Jacoby Myers was the leading receiver beyond Brock Bowers. 6 for 72, 12 average. Long of 21, 9 targets. Alexander Madison out of the backfield, 2 for 23, 11.5, while Zeus Weiss was out with injury. Trey Tucker, DJ Turner, Amir Abdullah came to play as well, and he was the 12th man for the team. That being said, oh, look at that. See, we don't have no wide receivers because Davante's gone. I'm glad Davante's leaving. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. Let's look at the Denver receiving, because I just want to see that. I want to see that. Javonte Williams, 5 for 50. Jordan Humphrey, 2 for 48. These are big plays to these players. 27, man. These are longs of 26, 27, 24, 20. To who? Troy Franklin, Cortland Sutton, Adam Troutman for 19. Jesus. Where was our cornerbacks? Wow. They decimated our so-called, going into the season, top 10 defense. I don't even want to look. It makes me sick to my freaking stomach. Let's look at the overall record of the Raiders, y'all. Kansas City is 4-0. Denver is ahead of us now. 3-2. Technically, the Chargers on a bye week are ahead of us at 2-2. And look at the points against us. How are you going to win any games when the points against you are almost 1/3 of what you've scored? 131-96. I learned about that stat in fantasy football. When the points against and the points for are different, it's either wins or losses, baby. I'm upset. I'm upset, guys. We're a bad team. We are a bad team. So let's talk about this for a second. Should we fire sell? We are technically going to be fire selling soon. But should we fire sell? Should we give up on the season? No. We're 2-3. But you probably can't lose more than 6 games total to make the playoffs. I'm thinking. At worst, maybe 7. 10-7, right? Is that how many games we play nowadays? So that means we nearly need to be perfect to make the playoffs. And these were games many of us thought we would start the season much better. It's because of injuries, Mikey. It's because of everything. We are the fucking Raiders. Should we fire sell everything? Not yet. What we should be doing as a team right now is trying to build this team through all the chaos and the turmoil, and we need to look better weekly. That ain't happening. There are absolutely no positives to take from, to be honest with you, the last 3 or 4 games. Last week, before this game, was a nice positive that we could win without Davante and players stepped up. But Jen, 1 week later, we give it up. We've been on win-loss roller coaster. And And Antonio Pierce is starting to lose his composure. He's starting to lose his mental ability to make sound decisions. And then the Raiders are being forced with turmoil too early in the season to where the players are starting to doubt certain things. Now players are wanting to leave. And now that fire in a negative fashion has started. It started a couple of weeks ago. But now it's getting bigger. Now all eyes are on not only Devontae, not only Max Crosby, but it's on AP, Luke Getchie, with his bare bones offense that cannot make anything happen. Let's be honest, man. He could not make Justin Fields into a decent quarterback with that offense. How's he going to do it with Gardner? He has no creative soul. We need to get Gruden back. I would rather a John Gruden to be our offensive coordinator. You guys need to call John Gruden right now. Pay him a couple $1 million to start working with Luke Getchie. I don't care how that pisses off Luke Getchie. But us losing that guy that went to Washington, whatever his name was, Cliff Kingsbury, that's looking really bad right now. Only for a few more $1 million. But let's be honest, the Raiders didn't have a shot at a quarterback in the draft, a realistic shot unless they sold the farm. And they should have. They should have. They should have sold the farm. But Washington had a better outreach. That's why that guy, Clint Kubiak, went to Washington. And now you all see what Jane Daniels is doing with that team. Did we have a realistic shot at Jane Daniels? No. That's why he went with the Washington Commanders for the job. Because they were going to get Jane Daniels. But if we had Jane Daniels somehow, we would still have Devontae, and we'd have a much better looking team. But we would have no future draft picks, which is sometimes you might have to do that shit. That being said, it's too early for a fire sale. But there's some things going on behind the scenes, like Michael Mayer. Why has he not returned? He might be pissed off that they drafted Brock Bowers and didn't let him know anything about it. And that Brock Bowers is stealing all of his shine. I mean, how is Michael Mayer going to get a big, huge secondary contract playing for Brock Bowers, who's the new, star name and face for the team? And with a star player leaving, Michael Mayer's like, damn, dude. Tight ends are struggling this year around the NFL. I'm a second round pick that has as much upside as Brock Bowers does. And I'm ruining my years here. And the league needs tight ends. I can go to a better offensive team if I disappear. Because he's only got one more year on his contract. Something might be brewing behind the scenes where he's looking to get out. He's one of those players that might be making business decisions as well. That's something we need to monitor, Raider Nation. Something we need to monitor. All right, let's bring it back to this little ditty that came out a couple of days before this past game that I wanted to talk about it. And Murph, I love you. I really do. I just had a really hard time when I brought up the question, is Devontae becoming a locker problem? And will he be traded this season? You called my question ludicrous and how dare I do it? You kind of like soaked like a person like that was just acting like, what a stupid question. Well, now it's come to light that you had Phil Villapiano on your show last year, and this is before this year. And he told you guys to your face about Devontae and his drama and his antics. And you guys were listening going, okay. You and Michelle, you're, yeah, okay. Did you guys really hear what he said? I did. That's why I brought up that question in our Mondays with Mikey and Murph season special. Because it's all there in front of us. You even presented the facts with Phil Villapiano on your show. Now, because of your clip that you guys cut together a week ago, where you showed him talking bad about Devontae, and now you guys are on the train where I was right. Everybody was right. And that's fine. There's no problem with fence shitting. But Villapiano, man, he's the man. He said it like it was. And I'm so proud you guys got him on your show. So proud you got him on your show. I really respect you guys. I think you got one of the best shows out there for fans, for fandom. You're not like a debate show. You're not like a negative show. And I wish I could be that way, but I've become too fucking salty and negative with this team. And, you know, I need the money, so I do the clickbait stuff. But I'm proud of you guys, Murph. But I just wanted to say, like, sometimes you got to take a hard look at players, even if they are a Raider and they call themselves a Raider. When they are doing shit against the Shield and they're becoming divas and they're starting to say and talk shit publicly, I know you love them because they're a teammate, but they watch your show. You got to call them out as well. But that's neither here nor there. I love you guys. You guys do great work. And you guys are really, really coming up. And I wish I lived in your area. I could be on your show every week if you would have me. But you made the news. So Philip Villapiano went against Devontae on your show last year and said, dude, all his antics, you know, you're either on the team or you're not. Clearly, Devontae is not on this team. He's given up. He's quit. And people want to blame AP. People want to blame Devontae. People want to blame everybody. But look, let's be honest. At the end of the day, this situation can be controlled by Devontae. You get it? Devontae is holding all the cards. Not the coaches. Devontae is. If he said he wants to be a Raider like he said he did, if he said he's going all in and he wants to build this team, and for his own pride, I always wanted to be a Raider. I always want to make this team better. Regardless of everything that's happened to him, I get it. Everything that's happened to him is freaking bad. Blame the Raiders as well, getting rid of Carr, this and that. We'll talk about that in a second. It's all sad. And people are writing, no wonder he wants to leave. And you guys are blaming Devontae for wanting to leave? Yes. I'm blaming Devontae for saying he wants to build this team. It was his favorite team growing up. And now, even though there's turmoil, he made the decision to come to the Raiders knowing that we've had 20 years of turmoil. Oh, but he didn't foresee Derek Carr, Josh McDaniels. I don't care. If you're going to become a part of this team officially, like Murph and Michelle and them have become a part of the Raider fan base with positivity and laughter and love and joy 95% of the time. If you're going to become a part of this team, become a part of this team. Don't have one foot out the door constantly whenever a little bit of turmoil happens. If you said you wanted to be a Raider and build a winning legacy, well, can you still do that without Derek Carr? Can't you? Can't you do it without Derek Carr? How much pride would you get, Devontae, if you just crushed your ego a little bit, realized the Raiders need to go all in on a quarterback next year, maybe renegotiate your contract, take a little bit of a lesser salary, and work with the Raiders? You know, whatever grievances you have with Antonio Pierce for whatever he's doing, because he's holding you to the fire. He's basically calling you out here and there, and he's getting pissed off at your bullshit. Have a conversation like men. Come to an agreement. And if you really wanted to be a Raider, you would help Antonio Pierce build this thing instead of tearing it down on your way out. You're being selfish, Devontae. And that's what Antonio Pierce is trying to find out. Who are Raiders? Who are going to go above and beyond and deal with the adversity and deal with the bullshit and still come to work every day, be like, Coach, I'm a Raider. What do you need me to do to help this team win? What do you need me to do? I got your back. You need me to talk to Gardner? You need me to do extra practices with Gardner to try to get on the same page? I'm all in. What do you need me to do, coach? Devontae has one foot out the door, and I'm glad and I'm going to be proud to get rid of your ass. You are not a real Raider. Again, everybody wants to pinpoint, well, Antonio did this. He liked the post. He did that. Come on, man. How ridiculous is that? He didn't call Devontae. Shut up. Shut up. The only person that holds the cards is Devontae. To man up or move out. And he's moving out because he's a bitch. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yes, I'm as pissed off at AP. Not for this situation, for everything else coaching-wise. Okay? I'm pissed off at AP as well. But again, how can you win and learn if people are against you? People say AP's against Devontae. No, AP's trying to build a culture of Raider players that are all in. Because he's all in. He just lost his job coaching college football for like 10 years. He can never go back to college. You think he doesn't want to win? Come on, man. If you ain't with us, Devontae, you against us. If you ain't helping us, you're hurting us. That's all I'm going to say. So that brings me to this quote that came up the other day. And read the bottom part first. My good friend on Twitter, Raider Post said, Raiders took 10 years and 16 quarterbacks to find Derek Carr after Rich Gannon retired. We are now on our 5th quarterback in 1.5 years since Derek Carr was released. Wow. Now, I read that post. You still think Derek Carr's elite? You still think Derek Carr's this, Derek Carr's that. F Derek Carr. He ain't doing any better with the Saints. Listen to me, you stupid fucks. This is not a competition if Derek Carr is an elite quarterback. If he's the best quarterback statistically for the Raiders. If he's going to go to a Super Bowl. If he's really an MVP player. This is not that. This is the overall picture of the Raiders as an organization. And when they got rid of Derek Carr, have we gotten better or worse? In all facets, we have gotten worse. So stop hating on Carr and start realizing that he was a part of the glue, even for a dysfunctional franchise. He was the best thing we had at that moment. The best man, the best quarterback at that moment for our team and stability and a possible foundation. This is not about his quarterback play. This is about the legacy, the swag, and I wish Derek Carr had the opportunity to play with Antonio Pierce and Luke Getsy. He might even make Luke Getsy a little bit better. But I'm not saying he's the best quarterback and we would have won 5 games by now and been undefeated. That's not what I'm saying. So I had to repost or quote the tweet from Raider Post. And hopefully you all understand what I'm saying. To all these people that were just taking shots at Derek Carr again, even through all of this turmoil. I said, regarding Carr, I don't care if he's not elite or for those that still hate Derek Carr. If he was here now, we would still be having Devontae. We would still have the locker fighting and we would have had a semblance of a chance to win more games moving forward. Maybe not a lot, maybe not the playoffs, but we would feel better about everything. If we're 90% Shad right now, we would have been 55, 60% Shad with Derek Carr. And that's a better percentage to still have hope. Like Leia Organa said in there, I need you, Derek Carr. You're our only hope. If Derek Carr came back today, which it ain't going to happen, Devontae would stay. Derek Carr would convince Devontae to renegotiate a contract for his final 2 years. Maybe. Well, maybe not with Antonio Pierce, Luke Getsy struggles, but still. It would at least be 50-50 that Devontae would stay. But I'm glad he's leaving because the situation is what it is. And I said if he was here, we'd still have the locker and some sort of chance. Now, in my opinion, this is a curse from the Patriots that continues to fuck us. F you, Josh McDaniels. But the sad part is Mark Davis signed off on all of these Patriots taking over our legacy. And what do I mean by that? Well, ever since the Tuck rule, and we had Gruden, the Patriots cursed us. They went on to win. We went on to lose. Every Patriot that has touched our team since then has kind of hurt us. I mean, you could talk about, the defensive lineman that we had. I forgot his name, Richard Seymour. But I'm just talking overall big picture. But what's really pissing me off the most is I'm looking for people to blame like all of you. Antonio Pierce, Devontae Adams, Derek Carr, Mikey Rader, Murph, Samoan, whoever people are looking to blame for whatever reasons. Okay? Because we all need somebody to blame. We all need somebody to blame. I mean, what is Mark Davis doing? Bringing in Josh McDaniels. Is Mark Davis a Forrest Gump or something? Is he that stupid? Well, I want to bring in a winning legacy. He's one of the most coveted quarterbacks to come back in a decade since Gruden to be a head coach. I want to pay him $10 million. You have no semblance on what the actual Raider legacy and culture is. And you keep trying to make decisions that are good, but you're like a child. You're like a child. I mean, I was excited that Josh McDaniels came because I had to be excited. Because he was our coach. But Mark Davis, when Josh McDaniels came to you and wanted to get rid of Derek Carr, you already knew that a lot of the fan base was not against Derek Carr. Maybe 45% were. But like 80% of the fan base was on Josh McDaniels, blaming Josh McDaniels. But you chose to let Josh McDaniels get rid of Derek Carr. I mean, that was the Raider quarterback. Regardless if he's good or not. He was the Raider quarterback. And it was all downhill from there. How could you let that happen, Mark Davis? The minute Josh McDaniels told you that he's going to release Derek Carr, I'd have been like, you're going to do what? No. You can bench him to teach him a lesson, but you ain't letting him go. Then we'll have this talk in the offseason, but you ain't letting him go. For nothing. For pennies on the dollar to save money. But Mark Davis liked the idea of that and allowed Josh McDaniels to do it. Why? Then, just after Derek Carr's done, when the body's still not warm, he had to listen to the fans and fire Josh McDaniels. And now he wanted to get the Raiders back on his side, and we were all clamoring for AP because he talks a good game. And I agree. I'm still happy he's our coach. He's struggling. I'm critiquing him. But you had to appease the nation. But you tried to sell the team to Tom Brady at a discounted rate, and the NFL had to fucking stop you? You tried to sell the team, parts of the team, to Tom fucking Brady for a cheaper amount because you like hanging out with the GOAT? At UFC fights, at WNBA games, you motherfucker, Mark Davis? You brought in all these Patriots, and what are they doing for us? They're fucking us. Fuck you, Mark Davis. Sell the motherfucking team. You have no clue what to do. Get the fuck out of here. I'm so tired of your decision making. I'm going to leave it at that. Now, Mark Davis is back to his old fucking antics. He's done this with Tom Brady, with everybody he tries to recruit. He's done it with John Gruden in the water challenge, the chicken wing challenge, whatever it was called, where they pour the water. Hey, John Gruden, I challenge you to pour the bucket over your head for the Alzheimer's or whatever the disease is. So he was recruiting John Gruden publicly. Now at every WNBA Aces game, and they lost. They're not in the playoffs anymore. They got taken out. But a couple of days ago, you had a meet and greet with Shedeur Sanders. Deion Sanders' son, who's possibly a top prize quarterback. And apparently people heard him say to Shedeur Sanders, who knows, you might be home right now. Because this was in Las Vegas at the WNBA Aces game in which Mark Davis owns the team. Who knows, you might be home right now. Are you seriously considering Shedeur Sanders? But that being said behind, who flew Shedeur Sanders to the game? Who gave him field or court tickets next to Mark Davis? Who had a cameraman ready to take that picture with Shedeur Sanders? That was you, Mark Davis. You set it in motion. It's all you. Isn't that tampering? I don't know. I'm not the NFL lawyers. I'm not the legalese on the NFL. Is that tampering for a college player that's currently playing? I mean, he had to fly out of wherever they play for, Colorado. He had to get a plane ticket. His dad ain't going to pay for it. Deion Sanders, I ain't going to pay for that shit. We're going to go through different people. We're going to put money. You're going to fly us out. You're going to give us all accommodations, hotel, blah, 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 blah. And he's having a meeting with a college quarterback that's currently playing and possibly recruiting him to be on our team next year or making a plan to try to get him on the Raiders. Is that not tampering? Your decision making, it might not be tampering, so it doesn't matter. But the point is, do you think this is a good idea, Mark Davis? Do you really fucking think this is a good idea? For publicity, yes. To make the Raiders stop complaining about Gardner Minshew. Oh, God, we got a chance at Shedeur Sanders. Mark Davis is meeting him. Finally, he's doing his job. Finally. That's why Tom Telesco's not there. That's why Antonio Pierce ain't there talking to Shedeur, because that's guaranteed tampering. But do you think this is a good idea? Seriously. Then on top of that, even if we have a chance at him and we tank the season and lose all our games, we'll talk about that in a minute. Do you really want Shedeur Sanders on our team? Does that not look like a nightmare? Do you not have foreknowledge of craziness and more chaos with Shedeur Sanders? With all the bling he wears in commercials, Taco Bell, whatever it is, Del Taco, whatever commercials, trying to get that money. Do you think that's really good to bring not a humble player to the team? Not a humble player. I mean, Devontae Adams is already not a humble player. How do you think Antonio Pierce is going to work having Deion Sanders, Shadir's father, in between them all the time? Oh, you want Shadir, to have a run game this week where he only passes the ball less than 15 times? Not in a contract year. Deion Sanders, they're going to try to control the whole fucking team. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, Caleb Williams looked like that as well, and he's doing okay with Chicago, but that dude tries to throw home run balls constantly. He is a playmaker. He is amazing. But the shit hasn't hit the fan in Chicago yet, so we don't know how Caleb Williams is going to react. But I still fear that situation, so I'm scared as shit of this situation. Who knows? You might be home right now. Fuck you, Mark Davis. Fuck you. All right. I'm not even going to talk about if the Raiders can make the playoffs because I don't give a fuck. What I'm talking about is what's our realistic record going to be? The media was right. They predicted 6.5 is the over-under. I don't even think we get to 7 games. I don't even think we get to 7 games anymore. Let's go over the schedule from right now, not with hope in our fucking hearts, not with all of that other shit going on, from right now, from this day, Monday, what the team looks like. Let's go over. We are now 2-3. And let's go over all the teams, how they look in the NFL right now, and if we can beat them with the team we have right now. I'm not going to say, it might get better. We might get players back from injury. Shut the fuck up. Let's go from right now. All right, we're starting at week 6. We're now 2-3. We lost to Denver. We have Pittsburgh. That's a loss. Their defense is spectacular. We couldn't even beat damn Denver Broncos. We're going to lose to Pittsburgh. Could we win? Yes. Any given Sunday, shit could happen and roll our way. But I'm just looking at it from, in all honesty, from my perspective, being upset with the team right now because this is what it looks like. We lose to Pittsburgh. Then we face the Rams. They can be had. They're struggling as well. But they'll probably get some of their receivers back by that point, and they got a top flair running back. They got a better coach. That game's a give me. But I'm going to say the Rams win because they got a better coach. And they might get some players back. It's 2 losses now in a row. We face Kansas City. Yeah, I mean, technically we could beat Kansas City because we did last year, right? No. Well, they ain't playing so great either. They have losses. We can't beat Kansas City. Again, I'm just proving it from right now. We lose to Kansas City. That's 3 in a row. The Bengals are the best 1-4 team I've ever seen in my life. We lose to Cincinnati. That's 4 losses in a row. We're now, what? 2-7 on our bye week. And that's around the trade deadline and all that other shit. That's the fire sale. That's when we need to tank. Coming off the bye week, we got a couple weeks to rest and relax. AP can, chill out. Players have been traded by now. And now we have the Raiders that are on the team and who we're going with. And we're going with whoever we're going with. We're now, again, according to my math, 2-7. Then we face Miami. They're going to get better. They're going to get Tua. Can we win against them? No. Not with a high-powered offense. But if our defense gets better, maybe we could. So you know what? It sounds really stupid. I'm going to give the Raiders a win in Miami. We're now 3-7. Then we face Denver. We should have beat them this time. Can we beat them again? Probably not. But it will be at home. It might be a close game again, and we learned a lot from the last game. Now we win again. We've won 2 in a row, if all luck prevails. Now we're 4-7. Then we face Kansas City. Could go either way, right? Probably not. Toward playoff time, they're probably winning again. Now we're 4-8. We faced Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield beat us once. He'll beat us again. Doesn't matter. We're out of the playoffs at this point. We're now 4-9. Atlanta, Kirk Cousins tearing up defenses. 4-10. Jacksonville. Maybe we win versus Jacksonville. We're 5-10. In the revenge game for Derek Carr in New Orleans, maybe it's a competitive game. It could go either way, but I'm just going to say Derek Carr wins to get his final revenge. We're now 5-11. Then we face the Chargers at home. They're going to be out of the playoff run at this point. Maybe we win against them. We're 6-11. And even if one or two of the games that I said we were going to lose, we win, that it might be close, we're still only 9. We don't make playoffs. Playoffs are out of the question right now. And even looking at the record, there's no shot. So that's why I brought up the question. Whoops. Sorry. Fire sale! Fire sale! Everything must go. Will Max Crosby be one of these players by the beginning of next year that wants off of this team? I hope not. He just had a press conference the other day or after the game, and he was clearly pissed off, and they asked him some questions, and he just said, oh, talk to Devontae about Devontae, whatever. He's like, but I go through this shit every year with this team. He's like, I go through this stuff with this team every year. The frustrations are there, as you saw in his pressure. And players like to get another contract in the final year or two, just like wide receivers do. They try to get more guaranteed money. I know Max Crosby has said he's the ultimate Raider. He'll do whatever it takes to stay here. And I hope he sticks true to his word. That being said, the frustrations are there. And people are now in his ear. Will it play out this year? No. But to start next year, if we don't get a rookie quarterback and we don't do some things, that could be on the horizon by the end of 2025. Max Crosby either wanting a new contract, wanting to be dealt or traded. And again, why would you even think that, Mikey Raider? Why would you even think that? I don't want to. This is what my brain does. I see the frustration. I feel it. I feel for Max. He's going to want more money. He deserves it. To put up with all this shit, he's going to deserve more money. He's going to want another contract. He's going to want more guaranteed money. A lot of players in their final 2 years, if they're playing above and beyond, they just sit out. They don't go to training camp. They try to get a new contract. They try to force a new contract, or they get traded. Then they get another contract, and then they get more guaranteed money. That's what's going on with Devontae. And Max and Devontae are good friends. All of this shit is happening, and Max Crosby's seeing it. And he's now officially frustrated. We're going into his 6th year? We're in his 6th year now? He's not going to want that for his final years, which is probably, 8, 9, 10 years in the league at most. He's starting to get injured. So he's probably only got 9 or 10 years in the league. And if we're in his 6th year right now, he's got to get another contract, another 40-something million guaranteed. And will that be with the Raiders, even though he has a tattoo and he's all in? There's a little bit of doubt creeping in. All right, Raider Nation, please let me know down below if you think we should be fire selling right now. Please let me know your schedule predictions, honestly, moving forward from the last segment. Are you blaming Devontae? You blaming AP? You blaming Mark Davis? What's going on with you? I want to know your true feelings on this situation. And that being said, if you stuck around this long, right, I'm always going to be a Raider for life in the description below. That way I know you stuck with me through thick and thin. Hopefully I'll come to you guys with a Raider football talk on Friday. Depends on some scenarios in my life. But I appreciate you all. I love you all. Thanks for tuning in for this hour and 15-minute post-game review. Please hit that thumbs up, that like button. And remember, we can only control what we can control. And if you're going to be a Raider, you got to start helping the team instead of hurting the team. And I'm speaking for myself. I need to do happier content. I need to do my best at happier content. But you guys will get the weekly hatred video because people seem to like that. But I need to do happier content, and I'm going to try my best. I love you, Raiders. I love you, Raider Nation. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed, and I'll see you on the next show.